Hey, welcome to Eat with Sarah. I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about veganism in Washington, D.C., the capital of the USA. And people have questions about what are the best restaurants in D.C., and is D.C. even vegan friendly? And as someone who has been to D.C. many times, I am here to talk all of the ins and outs of veganism in Washington, D.C. with you. Let's start off with answering the question, is DC vegan friendly? And my answer is 100% yes. I am a longtime vegan. I've only ever been to DC when I was a vegan, and there are so many vegan options in DC. I really love the variety of the restaurants you have. You have upscale restaurants, you have medium price restaurants, and you have really affordable, economical restaurants as well. So you have restaurants for a variety of people in DC, not only a variety of prices, but a variety of experiences. You have so much ethnic cuisine in DC, and a lot of it is vegan friendly. There are so many different types of restaurants in DC because there are so many people from around the world in DC, and a lot of them are vegan friendly. Some people have questions about specific types of restaurants in DC, and I am fortunate enough to have experienced a lot of them. I'm going to start off with what are some of the good places to get either baked goods or desserts in DC. And my favorite place for this is Sticky Fingers Sweets and Eats. It's a little bit to the north in Columbia Heights in DC, but it's worth checking out. Sweet rolls, so like cinnamon rolls and caramel rolls. They have muffins, they have cupcakes, they have cookies, sort of like sandwich cookie sort of thing. They have a really good, delicious selection, and a lot of their selections, or a decent portion of their selection, is gluten-free too. And they also label a lot of their allergens like soy and peanut and tree nut. So it is very inclusive for people who are vegan and or have allergies. I'm not a huge donut person, honestly, but I know people are looking for donuts. I haven't had any of the donuts at Sticky Fingers Sweets and Eats, but I do know that they offer a variety of donuts on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I did not go on one of those days, but based on the quality of the desserts that I did have at Sticky Fingers Bakery when I went there, I am sure they are very high quality. I don't know of any other places that offer vegan donuts. They also have desserts in Whole Foods, so they have cakes and they have cookies and they have muffins, scones in Whole Foods, so that's a great option if you want a quick and easy vegan dessert in DC. You may have heard on my other videos that I'm a total brunch person. I love brunch. I love all types of foods for brunch. I love the whole experience for brunch, and people want to know where is a good place to get vegan brunch in DC. I know I want to know, and there are some really great options. The 100% vegan options in DC are Sticky Fingers Sweets and Eats. Again, they do offer full meals, and then a place on H Street called Farewell. They do breakfast all day, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends, so you don't have to wait until Saturday or Sunday to have your brunch if you want it on a Tuesday. Another place is a place called Equinox, and Equinox is one of my favorite restaurants in DC, one of the best vegan restaurants in DC in my opinion. The restaurant itself is not 100% vegan, but I love Equinox because they have a brunch regularly on Sunday, and that is 100% vegan. It's a flat fare sort of thing, so you can eat as much as you want from the buffet, and there's a bunch of sweet options, savory options. It is delicious. Be prepared to fill yourself up and maybe not eat for the rest of the day because there are so many options and you will want to eat them all. And I love that they have the 100% plant-based brunch, because it makes me feel so comfortable not having to worry about looking at the ingredients and looking at the allergens. It's a so much better experience having the 100% vegan brunch at Equinox. Since I stay at a lot of hotels in DC, I want to find a place for breakfast. That's a little bit more difficult to come across when you're a vegan, especially in DC. A lot of places don't open until maybe 11 or so. If you are a morning person like me, you want to have your breakfast at 7, 8, or 9 in the morning, and there aren't a ton of options in DC for that. So my recommendation for breakfast is typically Whole Foods Market. They open earlier than a lot of the typical restaurants in DC. Even the Equinox brunch isn't open until like 10 or 11 on the weekends. Whole Foods Market has so many great options. As I stated before, they have muffins and scones, which are perfect. You can eat them there, or you can take it away. You have oatmeal, and you can make that savory or sweet. Normally they have like a tofu scramble. With Whole Foods Market, it changes on the regular, but they almost always have scones and muffins, which is an easy thing to take to your hotel or on the go if you are going to work. If you're in downtown DC, one of my favorite places that I have ever eaten in the entire world is Elizabeth's Gone Raw. They are not 100% raw anymore, but they offer upscale dinners with multiple courses, and it's worth the entire experience. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's one of my favorite dining experiences, and it's an experience that I will remember for years to come. There are other places in the downtown area that are vegan friendly, like Equinox. Equinox is in the downtown area. Rasika has a location in the downtown area. Since Rasika is Indian, they have a lot of vegan and vegetarian options. I have eaten there multiple times. The food is really delicious at Rasika, and I recommend it. It's very easy to eat vegan at a lot of these non-vegan places. Like Equinox has their plant-based options, vegan options labeled, and Rasika, it's very easy to pick out the vegan and vegetarian options as well. 8th Street is another area of DC that is very hot and happening. That is where the newish Fancy Radish restaurant is, and that's 100% vegan. I've been there multiple times. And that is the street where Farewell is, and that is 100% vegan. And Fancy Radish is a great option on 8th Street. It's sort of more like a tapas bar where you get different sort of selections that are inspired from worldly cuisines, and then you pick like 4 or 5 or whatever for a dinner for 2. Pre-COVID, it was a really delightful experience, and you get to taste lots of different flavors and a lot of different dishes. There are a lot of great dishes at Fancy Radish, and I do think their menu changes seasonally or changes every so often, but when I was there the last 2 times, they had these really great patatas bravas inspired by Spain, and it was a perfect mix of little potato bites and a slightly saucy and spicy dressing. And then another recommendation for Fancy Radish is getting the Dan Dan noodles. I really like those. Those are a bit more of a kick, but I love how the Fancy Radish is so internationally inspired. And they have foods from Asia, South America, North America, Europe. It is really globally inspired, and that is the sort of food that I love to eat. On to another area of town that is very hot and happening, and that is Georgetown. And unfortunately, Georgetown doesn't have as many restaurants that are vegan that just really call to me. So there are some vegan or vegan-friendly restaurants, but the one I would point out that is 100% vegan is Chaya Tacos, and it's 100% plant-based, so you don't have to worry about any animal products at the establishment. And I like how they're very whole food, plant-based focus. It's not junk food, but it's still really delicious and healthy, and they have interesting combinations for tacos. The non 100% vegan option in Georgetown that I would recommend is called Das Ethiopian. Ethiopian is traditionally just always vegan friendly. Ethiopia has a lot of plant-forward dishes, so Das Ethiopian was a fantastic experience. The setting of Das Ethiopia was really nice, as well as the variety of vegan dishes. I don't remember what vegan dishes I tried, but it's a lot of the standard vegan dishes, and they were all really good quality, and I love me some injera. The last specific area of DC that I'm going to talk about is the Chinatown, because for some reason people are wondering about the Chinatown area of DC. And to be honest, the Chinatown area is like 2 square blocks of DC. The Chinatown is pretty sad compared to every other Chinatown that I've been to. I don't know of any Chinese vegan or vegan friendly places in the Chinatown area, but one place in the Chinatown area that is vegan is Chaya Tacos. And so they have a location in Georgetown, and then they have another location in Chinatown. And then a second place that is vegan in the Chinatown area is called Hip City Veg. So neither of these options are Chinese or Chinese inspired or really Asian at all. Chaya Tacos is tacos, you know, it's Mexican, and then Hip City Veg is more of like American food of like burgers and fries. If you're not looking for a place that's 100% vegan, but you are looking for a place that's a little bit more upscale in the Chinatown sort of area, I would recommend Zaytinya. I think technically Zaytinya is in downtown, but it's really close to Chinatown that I would include it in the Chinatown area. And Zaytinya is a Mediterranean, I think it might be Greek inspired restaurant, and they have a lot of plant-based options. It's sort of like mezzy, kind of like fancy radish in a way, where you order a few things and you try from different plates. It really allows you to get a good variety from your experience there. They have really good pita bread, really fresh, delicious pita bread. Then they have things like hummus, which is traditional. I have eaten at Zaytinya multiple times too, and I am never disappointed. One thing I would recommend about Zaytinya though is you might want a reservation for Zaytinya because it can get pretty busy. You might want a date night or a nice restaurant to go that is vegan or vegan friendly for work, and since people are searching for upscale restaurants, I would like to point out a few upscale restaurants that are in DC. I would either go with Elizabeth Gone Raw for like a really nice date night, a multi-course menu where you want to make an event of it. Fancy Radish also has really nice food. The atmosphere is pretty nice, although the space itself is small, so it's not necessarily appropriate for a business dinner. Overall, I think Zaytinya is also a good choice for a date night or an upscale dinner if you want a vegan friendly option. In my San Francisco video, I talked about the amazing restaurant of Solely Vegan in Oakland, and since people are also looking for soul food in the DC area, I would like to recommend Farewell. Farewell has brunch, but it also has really soul food, comfort food options like mac and cheese, and they have vegan sort of like fried chicken. Not as much heavy on the soul food as Solely Vegan was in Oakland, but they do have some options. There is not a lot of soul food vegan that I have seen in DC. It's not really something that I seek out per se. Finally, before I wrap up this video, I have had so many fantastic restaurant experiences. It would be a shame to not mention some other ones that didn't fit into a nice little box. Other vegan friendly options, none of these are 100% vegan, are Teism. They have a few locations in DC. I love their sort of like Asian inspired like California food, if that makes sense. So they have bowls. So that's one of my favorites, and every time I go there I try something different and I'm always really satisfied with the food. Another two ethnic restaurants that I have been to in DC are Supra and Lappy's. So Supra is a restaurant of Georgian the country food. Georgia, the country, has a lot of vegetarian friendly options. I went there for a date night. I ordered a variety of dishes, sort of like the mezzy kind of thing again, and all the options were really good, and they had a lot of pretty accurate food, because I myself have been to Georgia. And then the last vegan friendly option in DC that I'd like to talk about is Lappy's. And Lappy's, it's going back to Middle Eastern food. Lappy's was really good. I've been there a few times. It's not 100% vegan, really great service, and I would definitely eat there again. It's a place that really stuck out in my mind because the menu was really innovative. Thanks for watching my video on the vegan and vegan friendly restaurants in Washington, DC. I hope that you get a chance to try one of the many restaurants I've talked about. Please, 1, like this video. It helps others discover this content. 2, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this type of content. And 3, if you want a quick little email about when I post new videos, please sign up for my mailing list in the description below, or it's also in the link on my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.